More than 150 people have been rescued after floods in northern Sydney. Other residents have been told to be prepared to flee their homes because of the rising floodwaters. The area's main reservoir, which supplies most of the city's drinking water, has started to overflow. You can see that there. There's been 3 days of torrential rainfall across eastern Australia. People living in parts of New South Wales have been told to stay indoors.
It's important to note that flood levels in some of the rivers, particularly in Western Sydney, are continuing to rise, and that presents a real danger for some communities. So it's very important for those who live in communities that are low-lying flood-prone areas that you continue to listen to emergency broadcasts from the SED.
Yes. Well, let's speak to our Sydney correspondent, Phil Mercer. Phil, where do things stand right now? Well, at the moment, we know that there are 2 deaths that have been associated with these wild days of weather here in eastern Australia. On Thursday, a 71-year-old man was found in floodwaters near Brisbane in the state of Queensland. And earlier today, a man's body was found in floodwaters in western parts of Sydney. Now, the police here say that they don't know the circumstances of the second fatality, but safe to say it has been a wild few days in eastern Australia. Record-breaking amounts of rain have fallen here in the state of New South Wales. Across one 24-hour period, a month's worth of rain fell. So at the moment, there are still evacuation orders in place in parts of Sydney, but thankfully for the 5 million or so residents of this city, this storm system is moving south and it is expected to head out to sea over the weekend. But as you'd imagine, the flood warnings are continuing because all of that rain is flowing into rivers and creeks. Their levels are rising, so with them, the risk of flooding to low-lying areas. And briefly, was there any way to prepare to avoid some of the issues you just talked about, some of the dangers that people are facing? Australia is a land well used to nature's extremes. The authorities are very good at giving advance warnings to motorists, to homeowners and commuters, but still people find themselves facing peril. As you mentioned, dozens of people have had to be rescued by emergency services. So it is a mercy in a way that although 2 people have died, tragic of course for those family members left behind, but it is an indication that Australia is pretty good at giving warnings to its citizens when these extreme events rumble through communities in this country.